Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong, and homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dubden Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, the Usnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother. Sumo Tanzangatso Tutan City. All Dhamma masters, Dhamma educators, Dhamma teachers, Dhamma lecturers, Dhamma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? I stay home.
Hola, amigo. Que quiero mucho. Going. Ichiba. Kimochi. Jumi. Yapi. Brin. Konnichiwa.
First, I would like to announce for next Sunday, May 1st at 3 p.m. Sunday, there will be Manjushri Bodhisattva Homa fire offering ceremony. It's May already. May 1st, isn't it our Labor's Day? So it's a holiday. May 1st. Manjushri Bodhisattva. So in Tibet, it's called the God of Wisdom. He has the highest wisdom. The mantra Om Alabhajanati. And his name is Manjushri. The mantra, the 6th syllable is Di. And his mudra is similar to Yamantaka, which is like this. So this deity has infinite wisdom. He has infinite wisdom. What he can accomplish in the Avatamsaka or flower ornament world. They are Sakyamuni Buddha, Manjushri Bodhisattva, and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. They are the Avatamsaka Trinity. Therefore, Manjushri Bodhisattva is a Dharma prince in the Avatamsaka realm. He's extremely noble and supreme with the unexcelled wisdom. In Sakyamuni Buddha's Sangha, during Sakyamuni Buddha's era, Manjushri Bodhisattva is the one with the highest wisdom. It's the symbol of the highest wisdom. And his Dhamma power is boundless. And he can manifest himself everywhere. In each of the worlds, there is a Manjushri Bodhisattva. So this deity is of extreme importance. And in the past, he was also a Buddha. And he transformed himself into Manjushri Bodhisattva to provide salvation for sentient beings. Last night we talked about Pindagraha or aggregate. Actually, many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in Tantric Buddhism are also Pindagraha or aggregates. Like Usnisha Vijaya was emanated by the Usnisha or the top knot, the head balm of Sakyamuni Buddha. So her origin was Sakyamuni Buddha. And she has three faces. The front, that's Buddha Mother, the Usnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother. And then the left face it's Vajrapani, and the right face is Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. So in English, Usnisha Vijaya, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, and Vajrapani Bodhisattva. And the crown is Sakyamuni Buddha. And on her hand, there's also an image of Amitabha Buddha. So Amitabha Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha, Usnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother, Vajrapani Bodhisattva, and Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. So she is a mixture, a combo of all these five deities. So an aggregate. And we talked about the aggregate a lot last night. So those are actually the same as our viruses these days. Look at the Delta variant. Mixed with who knows what and became Omicron. And the Omicron became BA2. So they continue to transform or mutate. So Usnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother is truly awesome. So the Vajra epithet is something that nobody dares to say, is the Vajra who obliterates maras. So she could obliterate all demonic obstruction or work. So therefore, during the dedications, you can eradicate the celestial Mara, the Mara of afflictions, Mara of death, and also Mara of the 5 aggregates, or the 5 skandhas. The 5 skandhas. So this is incredible. 3 faces and 8 arms. And 8 hands holding the Dharma implements. The first hand is a cross Vajra scepter, and then the lotus seed, and above Amitabha Buddha. And then the third is the arrow, and then the fourth hand is the wish-fulfilling mudra, and then the wrathful fist mudra, and also a lasso. And then there are also hands who form the fearless mudra. And then one holding a bow, and then one hand holding a nectar vase. Talking about the nectar vase, I would like to thank the Golden Mother right in front of me, and then the Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva who looks like a goddess. When I was performing the Bardo deliverance of the 1,000 Dharma vessels, the Golden Mother in the form of a celestial maiden helps me every night. And one day she was holding a nectar vase to sprinkle the nectar upon me. And from that day on, the Bodhi chakra inside my body has increased tremendously. So she's helped greatly, and I'm very grateful to her. That's why I asked Master Lian Xi, who took a picture of this Golden Mother in a celestial maiden form, and I worship one at the tantric quarter, and one image at the Southern Mountain Retreat. So I use the photos and I pray to her every day, because for over 2 years she's always there every night to help me to perform Bardo deliverance. Is this Golden Mother in the celestial maiden appearance. And this statue was offered by Master Changren from the Dokjen Center in Hong Kong, and the disciples there, they created this statue, and so many of them here at the Rainbow Temple, like Mahabala, the statue here was also from them. And Uchusuma, Akala at the altar, and also many of them. They're all from the Tank Directional Chapter or Dokjen Center in Hong Kong. And then Skanda and Sangarama, these two protectors. I heard that they made them for themselves, but they were too large, that they would hit the ceilings, so they send them here. So we got the Skanda and Sangarama. So the statues that they produced by Master Changren and the disciples there very magnificent.
非常好，看得非常
They look really nice.
天体型的瑶池
We
金
always feel
不
very
得了，非常庄严。
happy to
看
see
见
them.
它哦，
And this Golden Mother too, in the celestial maiden form. Very magnificent. It's hard to describe how I feel when I look at her.
真正宫很伟大。
And Ushnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother too is extremely incredible.
这个妈妈在检查小明学的造句，
Mom was checking the
发
composition
现他写着
homework
我
of
妈妈
me,
像一个
and he
暴
wrote,
躁的老虎。
"My mom is like a
妈妈就问
ferocious
小明了：
tigress."
我有那么暴躁吗？
And Mom asked me, "Am I that
妈妈跟
ferocious?
小明讲，你要实话实说。
You need to be honest.
哦，你难道就不能讲妈妈像一个公主，又温柔又大
Can't you
方
say
又漂亮吗？
Your mom is like a princess and
老师叫我
beautiful
造句的时候
and
不能讲
kind
假话
and but the teacher told us never to lie when we compose a sentence."
这个老公跟老婆对话啊，
The husband had a dialogue
女
with the wife.
人如水，
The husband
即使
said,
不是水，跟
"Wives
水在那边，
are like water. Even if they're not water, they're
怎么说
related
呢？
to water." And the wife asked, "How do you
比如
explain? Can
你
you
的
explain
二
that?
妹小丽，她
Like
有一双
your
水汪汪
younger
的大
sister
眼睛，
Lee
跟水有关吗？
has
还有你的三妹
very
小兰，她有着水润
like
水润的皮肤。
moisten eyes, and your other younger sister has a
老
skin
公讲，
that's so like filled with water.
你有水
How about
桶
me?
一般的腰。
And of course, you're also related to water. You're like a water barrel.
这是跟水有关。
So they're all related to water.
老师问小明：“你知道为什么有
The
东
teacher
京、
asks
有南京、有北京，为什么就没有西京呢？”
There's Beijing, Nanjing,
对，
and
我们知道
Tokyo.
东
So
京、
like the northern capital, southern
南京、
capital, eastern
南
capital.
京
So the eastern capital is
北京
Tokyo,
都在闽南
and
家。
Beijing and Nanjing are all both in China. And how about the
可是知
western
道西京
capital?
在哪里？
Anyone?
地名叫西京的。啊？西安叫西京啊。好，请你坐下。
Xi'an is the western
我也知道
capital.
啊。那个什么叫做西京，你知道吗？
Do you know what it is?
那个诈骗集团呢，都是在西京。
All the scammers are in the western capital.
西京，那不是唐三藏到西取经吗？
The monk
小
Xuanzang
明
went to the
老师
west
难道你
to
没有看过
obtain
《西游
the
记》吗？
Sutra.
老师讲说，当然有啦，里面的剧情我都能够倒背如
This is
流。
a little bit play of words of
小明就
Chinese.
问了：“那你能不能把唐三藏念的紧箍咒念出来？”
Don't you know the journey to the west? And the teacher said, "Of course, I know."
才讲，
So continue recite the mantra. Oh, but the teacher said, but he chanted it so softly I didn't hear. The teacher asked me, do you know why men always love a slim-figured woman? Oh, because Kong Rong told us that we should let others have the bigger ones. Okay, now to the main topic. Question from Malaysia by Lian Hua Yu Qin. Homage to the liturgical Guru. With tremendous respect and homage. My mother is also a Buddha school disciple, but she's been bedridden for many years, and she has amnesia, cannot remember lots of things, and with other ailments. I remember I read in Grandmaster's book to get a handful of sand and then chant 21 times of the Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani, and then by sprinkling them on the tombstones, the deceased would be reborn in the Pure Land. So if we use this on a handful of rice, and then chanting the Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani, and then if I sprinkle them around my mother, would it be able to make my mother's attached spirits and karmic creditors so that she can alleviate her suffering? Because looking at how my mom continued losing her weight and suffering in her pain and illnesses so that she can regain her health. And I have also been performing smoke offerings and dedicating it to the family members. But am I allowed to do this for my mother? So the mother is sick with amnesia, forgetting lots of things, and with other illnesses too. So when we are old, we have a lot of problems and being bedridden. And she's also a Buddha school disciple. So they want to chant the Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani 21 times and to sprinkle the sand on the tombs, and the deceased can be reborn in Pure Land. So they want to use rice and also chant the Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani 21 times and then sprinkle the rice around the mother so that her karmic creditors and attachments can leave her behind and leave her alone to alleviate her suffering and pain. So they're trying to apply a method to make a deceased to be reborn in the Pure Land to a living sick person. Is this okay? Can I do this? This is very difficult to answer. Anybody? It's very difficult to answer. For the deceased, by chanting 21 times of Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani, and then you scatter on the tomb of the deceased can be reborn in the Pure Land. But for a living sick person, and you use rice around them, can it lessen the pain and suffering of the sick person? Anybody with the high adept and with the great mastery and transcendent power? This is very difficult to answer. Perhaps I should consult. Nobody has asked such a question. And today is Ushnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother's Homa, so let me ask Ushnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother. So, by reciting Ushnisha Vijaya Dharani 21 times over the rice, and then scatter the rice around a sick person, can it alleviate the suffering and pain of the person? Please advise. Yes or no? Okay, thank you. To Ushnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother. Her answer was, it can be done for some and not for others. It's that again. And this kind of answer I can do too. I realize that's the case for a lot of things. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Let me give a simple example. Chen Li from Indonesia, who came here with the Jiangshi, Dharma educator, and the Dharma lectures of the Shimi Lechang Temple in Indonesia. And at that time, I happened to be giving blessing in the head at the Rinpo Temple, and they just came at that moment and got a blessing because she had some tumor on her throat, on her neck. So she flew here with Fendi and Anand, and to ask for the talisman and for blessings and consultation. But after she received the blessing, this is the Vihara Vajra Viriya Dharma Manado. So, and then afterwards, Fendi said, like, your tumor seems to be gone. And she was trying to check on it, and sure enough, it disappeared. It was there on the plane, and when they got off the plane, and then when they got here, it was there too. But with the blessing on the head, which is only for a few seconds, the tumor disappeared, and there was no need for spiritual consultation anymore. So she, with the Dharma educator and Dharma lecturer, Anand, and Dharma educator Sandy, flew back to Indonesia and did not even offer any red envelope to me. They flew back, and yes, they did offer gratitude. So the other days, the Dharma educator friend and Dharma lecturer Anand also came again, and we had a video chat as well. And she's very happy. So yes, it can be done with just the blessing on the head by Grandmaster's hand. Just for a few seconds, a few short seconds, it disappeared. But there are also other people whom I give blessings and talisman, but they're still there. They still have the tumor. And there's another one. During the Homa ceremony at the Freedom Square in Taiwan, as you all know, we were performing Mahottara Heruka ceremony, and he was not even a Buddha school disciple. He was just riding on a bus, passing by the Freedom Square, and we were during the ceremony and chanting the mantra. Om Pecha Chota. Everybody is saying something I can't hear.
Om Pecha Chota Mahase Sri Haruka Hom Ho.
Om Pecha
Chota
Karuta.
Om Pecha Chota Mahase.
Om Pecha Chota Mahase Sri Haruka Hom Hom Hey. 哦，对，他就听了这个。
Right. So he heard this mantra chanting on the public bus.
他觉得全身发热，就像我现在一样。
And then he felt really warm all over his body, like I am now, because it's so hot out and I'm wearing this scarf. I am so warm. And all of a sudden I forgot the mantra. I had an amnesia. I have an amnesia. I forgot all of a sudden. This mantra is very familiar to me, but right? Sometimes you can forget all of a sudden. It happens. I feel hot, so I'm forgetful. So when he heard that, he felt warm all over his body, and he was on the way for a checkup at the hospital, and he got there. And the doctor asked, what happened to the tumor? Yeah. And I'm on a checkup regularly, and this morning when I shave, it was there. But then now, after hearing the mantra chanting, the tumor disappeared. See, these things happen, and the tumor was cured. So when Grandmaster gives blessings, there's some tumors disappeared. So I thought, wow, my hand is so precious. So everybody with tumors asks for blessings. But after I give them blessings, they're not cured. What happened? Because some can be cured and some cannot. The same principle. This is not a recorded Dharma practice. But you have this thought to use the Usnisha Vijaya Dharani to cure the problem of your mother, and that you have that filial piety, so you can do it. But whether it will help your mother or not, it depends on her affinity or causes and conditions. Many things are dependent on the affinities. If you have the affinity, you're cured. Without the affinity, then it's impossible. Let's give another example, like Simu. She's gotten an illness that is like a brain problem. And Grandmaster have seen so many different illnesses. And of course, I use Buddha Dharma methods to help them. And I have helped Simu a lot. And also every day I help her with the protection and give her blessings. And we all know that she doesn't sleep well at night. And like the attendants like Master Lien Yi, or before the Reverend Lien En, know that Grandmaster has a talisman that she would sleep well if she takes it, that she would sleep a little bit longer. Otherwise, she would sleep very short time, 2 to 3 hours only. And she would wake up and she would only sleep 3 hours every night. So the attendant would take the talismans and ask me to bless them, and then brought them home for her to take. And it helps. So she would sleep 7 or 8 hours, and sometimes she doesn't get up at 7 o'clock. She slept at midnight or 1 a.m. So she would sleep better after taking the talisman. And if she doesn't take it, maybe after a few days, she would have the same problem again. And she never asked for anything. She never asked. She never asked from me for anything. So we just help her on our own, but not her. She doesn't seem to care. So I would draw the talisman, and then I use a huge power to bless it because she's Simu. And I knew that this would be effective. And sure enough, it's effective. But if she doesn't take it, then it's gone. And then she returned to her original state. So that's due to causes and conditions. That's her affinity. With her ailment, I always want to help her, but it's really, really difficult. Problems with the brains is very difficult to handle. Problems with the brains include seizures or epilepsy or ALS. Or Parkinson. So if the hormone is produced in balance in the brain, then everything is fine. But if it's not in balance, then you'll have some ailments. The brain is very complicated. So I've used all kinds of methods to help Simu. I've helped people operated on their brains, like on Elizabeth. I'm not a surgeon. I never used knives, but she dreamt of Grandmaster who visited her in her dream, opened her brain, and took out her tumor. And then when she had it checked, the tumor disappeared. The tumor inside her brain disappeared. So whether you can be cured or not, it's difficult to say, right? That's all depending on their affinities. That's why affinity is very important. This affinity is like this. Everything arises due to causes and conditions, and everything ceases due to the causes and conditions. When the causes and conditions arise, then the affinity is there. When the causes and conditions are not there, then the affinity is gone. The same with the illness. So it depends on the causes and conditions. So the answer given by Usnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother was that some would be effective and not others. That was her answer. It would be effective from some and not for others. The policeman was checking for drunk driving close to the park. So he's drunk and he was trying to avoid that. So he went into the park and saw a group of elderlies dancing on the line dance. So he joined, but he couldn't keep up the step. And so the policeman noticed him right away and then seized him, captured him. And then the elderly said, "Oh no, if you don't dance well, you would be caught by the policeman." So this is line dance in the park. It's something very common in China. So this joke must be from China. The daughter, this is play of word in Chinese.
结果呢，隔天女儿被叫到训导处罚站，因为别人的制服都绣的是的名字，绣的是名字，只有女儿绣的是达赖喇嘛。达赖喇嘛。
This is a Chinese homophone.
爸爸问小宝
Dad
小宝，
asks
你知道
小
为什么
宝
袋鼠的肚子前面有个袋子？
Do you know why there's a pocket in front of a kangaroo?
装袋鼠宝宝的。
I know, that's to carry the baby kangaroo.
但是呢，小袋鼠的肚子前面也有一个袋子呢。
Why
这
there's a
怎么解
pocket
释？
on the front of the baby kangaroo?
那一定是装糖果。
Oh, that's to carry candies.
好，我们讲金刚经啊。
Now we will talk about the Vajra Sutra.
知见不生分第31。知见不生分第
Chapter
31。
31, Non-Arising
我把它经文
Perception.
念完。
Let me read the sutra
若
text.
人言，
Subhuti,
我说，
if someone
我见
claims that the
人见
Buddha
众
ever
生见
speaks
寿
on
者
the
见
perception of self,
悉不
others,
疑
sentient beings, and
疑因
lifespan,
何？
do you think
世
they
人
understand
解
my
我所
teaching?
说亦不。悉不地回答：不呀，世尊。
No, what honored
世人
one,
不解
Subhuti
如来所
replied.
说义，
This
何以
person
不？
does not understand
世
your
尊说：
teaching.
我
Why?
见人见
Because
众
the
生
word
见
honored
寿
one
者见，
says a
即
perception
为
of
我
self,
见
other
人
sentient
见
beings,
众
and
生
lifespan is not a
众生见
perception
寿
of
者见，
self,
是名
self,
我
other
见
sentient
人见
beings, and
众生
lifespan.
见
It is
寿者
merely
见。
called a
悉
perception
不
of
地
self,
发
other
阿
sentient
耨
beings, and
多罗三
lifespan.
藐三菩提心者，以一切法应如是知，如是见，如是信解。
Subhuti, the one
不生
generating
法相。
Anuttara Samyaksamadhi, should know,
所
perceive,
言法
believe,
相
and
者，
understand
如来说
that
即
everything
为
is
法
as
相，
such,
是
and
名法
therefore
相。
should not give rise to any dharma
这
phenomena.
经文是这样讲的。
Subhuti, the Tathagata says that the so-called dharma phenomena is not dharma phenomena, it is merely called dharma phenomena. This is chapter 31, Non-Arising Perception.
我们昨天讲，
So yesterday
整
we
个
talked
宇宙
about
都是一合相，
the whole universe as an aggregate,
看到的
Abhinagraha.
都是一合相，
Anything that you can see is an aggregate.
分开了，什么都没有。
Once they are separated, then there's nothing.
所以这句话就是讲，一切的
So
相，
all
实在是都不是实相。
phenomena or appearance is not a real phenomena. All phenomena are not real
我们
phenomena.
刚刚知见不分不生，知见不生。
Unborn perception.
你看到的一切的相，都不是实相。
Anything that you
所有一
perceive,
切相没有
any
真实性。
phenomena that you perceive is not real phenomena. They have no reality to it. They have no self-nature.
这样大家差不多可以了解这个整个经文。知见不生，
So now you would understand this text.
你看到什
Unborn
么？
perception.
你知道什么？
What have you seen?
完
What do you
全
know?
是无生，
They're all
没有
unborn,
真实性。
non-arising. They have no true reality to it.
没有真实性。
No,
你知道什么？你看到什么？都没有真实性，
whatever you see,
因为整个宇宙
whatever you know has
接下来
no true reality to it because the whole universe is made up of
都没有
aggregate.
真实性。
So everything that you see is not real. Let me ask you a question. Every time during Homa, I would take this and I would do this 3 times. I would say it 3 times. Can you guess what I write on it and what I say? If you can guess correctly. Wow. This gold would be yours. Jewel, this gold ring with jewel and diamonds will be yours immediately, and I will, without regret. Do you know what I'm chanting when I take this?
我在念什么？念错一个字都不行。
You have to be exactly accurate. I have done this.
念3遍。
And I would chant it 3 times.
好，还有没有？轰轰轰！
Om ahom, and then hom hom hom.
狼牙抗。
Lang yang kang.
不卖啊。
Not yours. Not for sale. It stays with me. I can guarantee that nobody would know. Returning to emptiness.
1次、2次、3次。
Once, twice, 3 times. Every time I add the character.
好了，我看大家猜不着，我才敢这样子。
Because I know that you would not be able to guess. That's why I dare to do that.
因为这个实在是太贵了。
Because this is too expensive, too valuable.
这个一拿出来，所有的人全部举手。
When I offer this, everybody would raise their hand.
贵的，你看这个是。
And this is slightly better, but still expensive. This is all real diamonds around it, and this is a real jewel, and made of gold. It's very bright. Of course, will not be given to you. But I speak truthfully. I don't cheat.
第一句话是清净。
The first word is
第二句话
purity.
自性清净。
And the second time is the pure self-nature.
自性清净。
And the third time is all self-nature is pure.
自性清净。
Pure,
一切自性
pure self-nature, and
就讲这3句话。
all self-nature is pure.
我做了这个护摩，是
By performing this homa is to purify.
这不只是护摩清净，
Not only the homa is pure,
自心自己的佛性，
that my self-nature and Buddha nature is also pure.
把一切这个污秽给它变成自己
And
的
to transform
佛性
all
清净。
impurities
第3句
to
话，
become
一切自性清
the
净，
Buddha
包
nature
括
is
你
pure.
的所有的众生。
So, and the third statement is that all self-natures, including all sentient beings, and their Buddha nature The Buddha nature or self-nature of all sentient beings are
告诉
pure.
大家，
So 3 statements.
所有一切都是一合相。
Let me tell you, everything is an
没有
aggregate.
自性
And once they are separated, there is no self-nature. There is no reality to it.
我昨天晚上讲，眼睛离开你的身体，
Like I said last night, if the eyes are separated from your body, they cannot see. When the ears are separated from your body, they cannot hear. When the teeth is separated from your body, it cannot eat.
全部没有。
So combined, they can function, but separated, there's nothing. So what's
剩下的
left?
就是佛性，
Once they're all separated, what is left is just the Buddha
把它
nature.
解除掉，分开来。你能够这样子讲，你就
They
会
are dissipated or separated,
要分开来想。
then you can be pure.
所以释迦牟尼有讲，
Sakyamuni
我
Buddha
说我
said,
见人见众生见寿者见，悉菩提，
The Buddha says,
世人皆我所说亦不，不是这样子
the
讲。
Buddha speaks on the perception of self, other sentient being and lifespans. Do you think they understand my teaching? No, no.
它的意义
The Buddha
在这
didn't
里
say this. That's not the
为什
meaning.
么呢？
Why?
世尊说，
Because the world honored one says that a perception of self, other sentient beings and lifespan is not a perception of self, other sentient beings and lifespan.
就不是，
They are not.
但是因为不是，
It is
那
not.
是众凡夫之人，
And because it
他
is
确实
not,
是有我见、人见、众生见、寿者见啊。
but mundane beings do have perceptions of
所以
self,
才叫
other sentient
名
beings
叫
and
我见、人
lifespan.
见、众生见、
That's
寿者
why
见。
it is called a perception of self, other sentient beings and lifespan. Subhuti, the one generating Anuttara Sambodhi, should know, perceive,
在所有的法当
believe,
中，
and
所有一
understand
切当中，
that everything is as
因见
such.
你会知道，你也所能够见到的，要这样子
That
去
you
相
would also
信，
know
其
that
解释
everything that you
不
see,
生法相。其实是
you need to know, perceive, believe, and understand that they do not give rise to any Dharma phenomena because there's nothing. Everything is empty. And Subhuti, the Tathagata says that the so-called Dharma phenomena is not Dharma phenomena. It is merely called Dharma phenomena. What is Dharma phenomena? Is everything that we see or know in the whole universe is not Dharma phenomena according to the Tathagata.
凡夫之人
There is no
认
reality
为
to
没有
it.
所以才生法相。
So the mundane beings think that they exist. So that's why
这个整个经文
the
都跟
Dharma
大家讲，
phenomena
也就是说，
arise.
宇宙之间任何东西都
So that's the sutra text. So in the whole universe, everything is an aggregate. Everything that mundane beings see is all aggregates.
其实什么都没有。
But what the Buddha sees is nothing. Actually,
因
there
为
is
是
nothing at
唯
all.
一的真实就是佛性。
Because the only reality is the Buddha nature.
跟我讲了，清净，你清净了就是佛性。
So, like what I
所以《法华
said,
经》里面有清净佛，清净
if
佛。
you purify, that's Buddha
过
nature.
往的时候就是念了两个
That's
字
why there is the pure Buddha.
清净。
When the Master Dubdantarachi is passing, he
念
said
了两个字
pure or purity.
自
That's
信
all
清
he
净。
said. And
你清
pure
净
self
了，你自
nature.
己的佛性就
Once
显
you're
现了。
purified,
自
your own
信
Buddha
清净
nature will manifest. That's
一
called
切
the
自信
pure
清
self
净，所
nature.
有一切的众生，他的自信全部清
And
净。
all pure self natures means that the self nature of all
所
sentient
以我们
beings are
现在
pure.
所修法，法也是假的。
So we perform Dharma practice, but
但
all
是
the
你修了
Dharma
法，你能够
are
清净，
also false. But by practicing the Dharma, you
你
can
能清
become
净
pure.
体温，
And according to Lamdi, how much purity proportions have you reached? If you have reached the scale 13, then you would be a Buddha on the 13th ground. If you have reached the purity scale 16, that's the Adama Buddha, primordial Buddha. So we use purity as the symbol. The same with the Bodhisattvas. If it's a scale 1, that's the ground of joy. The scale 7, that's the ground of far travel. And the scale 8, that's the immovable ground. Only then you would be stable and will not digress. And when you reach scale 10, that's the ground of Dharma clouds. And when you reach purity scale 11, then that's the 1,000 eyes, 1,000 arms, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. That's the 11th ground. So, in our Dharma practice, we purify ourselves. And then how much have you purified? And that's how it's being classified in Lamdi. That talks about purity. And since you're a bodhisattva and you generate Anuttara Sambodhi, you should know. And you should perceive and believe and understand this. That all phenomena are unborn. That everything that you see are not true, are not reality. Only the Buddha nature that appears after you have been completely purified is the true reality and nothing else. That's what the Sutra text is talking about. This is how I explain this Sutra text. Maybe not other people, but that's just how I would explain it. And then that would be the last one in the Vajra Sutra. That all manifestations are not real. Let me tell you, even Sukhavati, the Western paradise, they are all manifested. All the pure lands are manifested. But once you get there, that's a non-returning ground, which means once you arrive at the Sukhavati, you will not come back to the 6 rebirth realms. That's why I wish that everybody can go to Sukhavati, because that's the non-returning ground. So over there's also the purifying Dharma, which is the 37 body divisions, or the 37 factors for enlightening practices. And to practice arhatship, you rely on precepts, meditative stability, and wisdom. And you practice bodhisattvahood, that's the eightfold noble path and 6 paramitas. And when you reach the 10th ground of bodhisattvahood, you're a standby Buddha. And the 11th ground, you're the Buddha. So they are all classified based on the purity. And you all know about the 37 enlightening factors, which we all know, the 4 noble truths, or the 4 mindfulness, and 8 noble paths, and there are many. So 37 enlightening factors, enlightenment factors, belong to the Mahayana Buddhism, and the Theravada Buddhism is the precepts, meditative, and wisdom. So once you get to Sukhavati, and you practice the 37 enlightening factors, then you would attain Buddhahood. Although Sukhavati was manifested by Amitabha Buddha, and Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva also and Kshitigarbha Bodhisattva, they all have their own pure
像
lights.
这个药师琉璃光佛，有
Our medicine Buddha has
我们真佛中有真佛世界，
the Lapis Lazuli realm, and True Buddha school has the
都是
True
应
Buddha
化出来
realm.
的。但是
They all manifested.
在修37道品，成就了。
But once you get there and you practice the 37 enlightening factors, then, and if you have attainment, then you would have you would reach Buddhahood, each one of you. So to have attainments in Buddha Dharma, and you need to purify yourself in order to have clear light radiance. And then by purifying it, you would reach ground of the Bodhisattvahood.
他这个笑话我不太清楚但是
I'm not sure about this joke, but let me share it anyway.
这个有一个年轻人苦苦问禅师自己的人
A young man asked the Zen master
你喜欢什么样的生活？
about life, and the Zen master asked, "What kind of life do you like?"
A 是没有钱 ，B 是有钱。
A with money, B without money. A without money, B with money, and he replied, B with money. What kind of ladies do you like? The beautiful one or the ugly one? The young man said B. And that's your life then. The beautiful one is B. So does it mean that my life would be filled with money and beauties? No. It's to be. What is to be? Do you know?
2B 是什么？啊？傻瓜。哦。我们南家有俗语叫做2B 嘛。2B 就是。
Is there a slang called to be in China? That means idiot?
对啊。那就对了。
Okay. Then he's an idiot.
好了，Om Mani Padme Hum。
Om Mani Padme Hum.
非常感